The whole week I was like, Pedro's gonna come at me with some shit. I know it.
Nah, not at all. All right, so let's just start the episode. No introduction needed. Thank you for being here, ladies. Hold on. Thank you for being here, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary, non-gender people, whatever your preferred pronoun is, everyone else. So we're just going to continue from last week's podcast for the people. I shouldn't say a continuation. It's going to be an expansion. We'll talk more about the podcast and the ironing out the details and where we're going to go forward. So let's start off with something light. Nope, let's go in hot and heavy. All right. So Steven. Hold on. See, now I got to relax. Let me take a breather.
What do you mean?
Okay. So remember when you're in class or even work and then you get put together with a team in a group project or a team project or something like that when you have to work together?
Yes.
Hold on, I was thinking, did I explain the intro? Good. Yeah, good enough. Okay. So, and then every time within a group, I shouldn't say every time within a group. And then sometimes you yourself are in a group or you yourself see someone else in a group where one person does everything.
Yes.
All right, so that's how I feel, which is perfect because now we're going to switch it. So now you're going to do everything on the next year, I guess, going forward.
Yes.
Yeah, that was it. Just wanted to start in hot, which wasn't hot because we already talked about it.
Yeah.
So that's already been ironed out.
We did. You are correct in that. Yeah, I have no objections.
I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something else. I shouldn't have calmed down. Goddamn.
What do you mean? What do you need me to add fuel to the fire? What do you need me to do?
Nah. I forgot what I was going to say. It wasn't something... No, I think that was it. But that discussion that we had was... Well, it wasn't now. It was beforehand. And we just had to see... Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Damn. I was going to say at this moment. All right, so at this moment, we got to deal with who's the biggest. Spotify. So Spotify asked us, or was going to give us $1 million for joining them, etc., for whatever you want. Point is, Spotify is going to give us $1 million. How would you split up that right now?
How would I split it up?
Yeah. I already have my number.
You have your number.
Yeah.
What's your number?
Technically, no. You go first. Because if I tell you my number, you're going to base yours on this. But I have mine. Mine is a range. And it's a percentage.
A percentage.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, obviously, my first thoughts.
Good tip. Give me your number. Give me that number. And then explain it.
Okay. Initial thought, 50-50. Just because it's a two-man show. And I would say ownership is 50-50. But that's just based on quick maths. There's two of us. That's it. Based on who earns or has earned it or deserves the raise or whatever. Then yeah, it'd be the scales would be tipped. I'd push 60-40, but probably 70-30.
Okay, you're gonna go 70-30?
Yeah.
Cool. I'd go 85-95.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'd take 85 to 95 and you would get the other percentage.
Uh-huh.
So if I got 85, that means you would get 15. If I got 90, you would get 10. And if I got 95, then you would get 5. At the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say we hired someone to do editing. Then my percentage would go down. And then yours would stay the same. And let's say then we hired an editor and someone for social media. Then my percentage would be continually going down until we met.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah. I don't have no problem with it.
Yeah, that's how I was going to start. Damn, that's how I was going to start. And then ask you the other thing and whatever.
But we're not getting $1 million, are we?
No.
Yeah, so there's no... Nah. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you say that now, but if we were getting $1 million, and then I bring it up because I don't think when I see or hear YouTube videos or podcasters, they never really discuss money, and I have no idea why. You know, you've seen a video on YouTube. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to tell you guys how much I make."
Mm-hmm.
And before I wouldn't understand it. I was like, why don't they just want to share? I mean, it's not. Before I would think it's not like me knowing that information would affect them, but it's not that it wouldn't affect them if I knew it, but if someone else knew it, if two YouTubers, podcasters, Twitch streamers, etc. had the same deal with Nike, and then they discussed, I'm getting this much from Nike, and the other person gets more or less, then it could lead to some problems. Especially if they're equivalent in their views and everything's the same. If everything's the same and one's getting a significant more and the other one's getting significant less, and it's like, why is this person getting more? And it could be for a bunch of reasons. I'm just saying that they don't discuss how much they're getting because of stuff like that, or because of something else completely.
Yeah, but that's everywhere. With people with like regular jobs, they tell you don't discuss what you're making with anybody. Yeah.
It's definitely with everything, but I use that example because that's the one that I guess a lot of people see or hear most often. Because with the job, you only know about that when you get a job, but with the other ones, you hear about it. Even little kids hear about it when YouTubers talk about it. And they might not know why, and that there could be a dozen different reasons why.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm waiting for that saw noise to pass.
Yeah.
Well, looks like someone's chopping wood in the back. But yeah, I bring it up just because I don't think it's discussed, and that was a completely hypothetical situation. But wait, saw noise. All right, so any questions from last week that you want to talk about now? Because I got a couple, but just...
No, I mean, I was... Hold on, I don't want to move on yet.
Okay.
Back to $100 million or whatever.
$1 million, but yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
But I'm waiting for the but.
Actually, there is no but. I was gonna say but nah. It's not like... Yeah, never mind. My scenario doesn't make sense.
Okay.
I mean, it does, but it's in regards to like the ratio of money compared to actual, like what we actually have, it's way too
Mm-hmm.
we're too far apart for it to make sense in my scenario. So it doesn't make sense.
Mm. Okay.
So moving on. Let's see. I listened to the podcast. I've been listening to them. No, I don't really have questions that are like pressing enough to bring them up again. I know you probably do.
Hell yeah.
The whole time I was listening to last week's podcast, I was like, I think Pedro will bring this up again. I think he'll bring this up again.
No. Bring it up again. Or bring it up, not again, but something that's bothering you that you want to ask.
That's the thing that doesn't bother. Nothing really bothers me.
Shouldn't say bother you, but any... Because we're not...
When I was listening to it, I was thinking... like trying to predict what you would bring up.
Really?
Yeah, I was like,
okay.
Is he gonna think about? Is he dwelling on this, or can it kind of like how when you're like in an argument with somebody and then it passes, a couple hours pass by, you're at your house or somewhere else, and you think of something like, "Fuck, I could have said this," and that would have like helped my.
Oh no.
So that's what I was thinking. You were doing.
Nah, I just I don't do that with that's more of a conversation thing where you said something and then I wish I thought of the words then, but I do that with just with ideas, but that I sit with a lot longer because often my first reaction is probably based on emotion. I would say it's mostly based on emotion, so then I don't want to say anything because then I have to go home and actually think about it. Damn, I just had a hard deja vu. I feel like I've done this in a dream. So let's get right into it. So
Wait, you lost me. What did you just do?
Oh, I had hard deja vu.
Doing what?
Where I had a dream and I imagined me doing this like 10 years ago in my dream, and I just remember my dream right now.
This specific thing that we're doing right now?
Yeah. It's happened like 10 different times. But the details are never exactly the same. Big ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was in middle school, I remember my high school class, which isn't deja vu. It's more like you're predicting the future. But it's not specific details. It's big ideas. Like I remember being in a classroom that looks similar to my high school one when I had a middle school dream. Or like 10 years ago, I remember a situation where I was in front of a mic with someone else. But that's it. I don't remember what laptop I had, what mic I had, the room that I was in. It was just main ideas.
So you're predicting the future before it happens, and then once it happens, it's deja vu?
That's how I always considered it, but I'm not predicting the future. It's just a random coincidence.
Like you don't know that it's... Yeah, you don't know that it's happening or that it's going to happen until it happens.
Yeah, and then I flash back right away like, oh, damn, I've had a dream like this 1 year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Not 20. I guess the earliest would be 5. Oh, yeah, maybe 20 years ago. Yeah, I know you want to ask more questions, but PFTP. PFTP. So, what was I going to bring up? I was going to bring up something. Oh yeah, you said something. We were talking about how sometimes you were discussing something and then you want to bring something up and then you either don't or you think back to it later on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, I'm sorry with this. Then you remember when you said the episodes, I think the episodes that we've done are good.
I have said that before, yes.
I think we should be having more. Our views don't reflect the episodes. I don't know if you said that word for word, but it was, we should get more views. I think our episodes are better. That main idea, not that same exact wording.
Did I say that last week? Did I say that
2 weeks
off camera?
ago? Off camera.
Yeah. Okay. That's how I remember it then. Yeah, I said that.
All right. Can you explain it more?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that a question, or were you telling me?
No. I'm trying to remember if I said it as in we get good. Our views don't reflect what we put out because the numbers aren't where they should be. Yeah, right?
Yeah, that was the main idea. I don't remember
So
the exact wording.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact wording either, but that's the gist.
Yeah, and then could you explain why?
Why?
Why as in why do you think that? That's what I mean.
It's going to sound like I'm big-headed, but I don't know. Well, it's probably because I'm big-headed. I think that
Okay.
we're yeah, I mean maybe a little bit entitlement is not the right word because we're not entitled to anything. Not just big-headed where I feel like, what the fuck, this shit's good. We should be like the product kind of like is I feel like, or I see the videos when we put them out, it's kind of like cocaine. The product speaks for itself. Just give them teasers and they keep coming back for more, even though there's no real direct comparison to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, cocaine is this big thing and we're still tiny. And people don't come back for continuously come back for more unless, they're true fans.
I thought you were gonna say true addicts.
Yeah, that would have been good.
So wait, I'm trying to figure out exactly what you said. So you compared it to cocaine and said it. You believe it's kind of like that, and we should get more.
So, do you know how cocaine got big in the U.S.?
No.
They brought it here and they just gave it away for free.
Hmm.
They gave it to dealers and people to just move it through the club scene and everything. Like, hey, try this new drug. And it got people hooked and they kept coming back. Hey, you got any more of that?
Mm-hmm.
Of that stuff? And like, yeah, we do, but it's this much for this much. And then it just kind of just like an epidemic.
Okay, then I'm gonna use that same analogy you used. Then if you kind of think of it that way, then I think of it the same way because I'm gonna use the same analogy. Then I think of it more like we're distributing cocaine that's cut and it actually has 5% cocaine in it, and the rest is flour. And that's how I think of all the episodes.
So, but then that would be like saying we're cutting out good stuff and only leaving like just
You're getting too specific with it, but the main the main idea with it was it's trash.
Uh-huh.
That's the main idea. Don't get too specific, like, oh, but we're cutting. But what about 6%? Well, what if
it's like self-sabotage then?
That's too specific. It's just the episodes are bad. That's all I'm trying to say.
As in the stuff that we're talking about, or
overall?
Because it's subjective at this point, where your definition of bad trash could be different from mine. Just like last week you did say, you want to over explain things because you feel bad for the person that might not know what we're talking about, where I'm just like, fuck that guy, let's just keep the conversation going. So maybe because I don't, over explain or take the time to really give all this information out. Like if I'm giving a presentation.
Wait, hold on. What you did there was you assumed it was trash because of you. When I said it, I assumed it because of me.
Well, I'm just saying. Wait, no, I'm lost. What did you say?
The what you said right now seems like you're saying you were trying to put like the blame on kind of you. Like you want me to do more of this, and that's why I think you're saying it's trash. When I said the episodes are bad, I meant it because of me.
Because of you.
Mm-hmm.
How so?
Because I know that I could speak better, and the ideas that I say and the way I say them, I feel like sometimes they're not clear, or later on I think of better ways to say it. That maybe I could have got there if I not prepared, but I don't know, it just didn't come to me at the moment. And that's just one part of it. The other part would be not that we're not in a niche, but that the podcast is in focus. We don't know who we're targeting specifically. Not that we have to, but it would help. The length of it, I don't know if it's the right length. As in an hour, half an hour 30, 2 hours. Which could change at any point. And then some people do 1 hour, other people do 2 hours. So there's a whole bunch of other things that go into it. But I think the main reason I say is because of me. Is that the wood again? It just stopped. Was because of me. And remember when I said before, I think there's something missing?
Mm-hmm.
I would always say there's something missing. Yes. And I don't know what it is. And last week you said something about relatableness. What was it? Something that I don't remember. What was it exactly about relatableness?
Oh, that we should be giving our views or what we think, not just being neutral. So that way we say what we like or whatever. And then whoever's watching it can relate to us. Like, oh, I like that too. And then we ended off in... We can start with saying what we like, but then kind of give both sides... like what the goods for both sides or whatever. So whoever doesn't relate to us can be like, oh, they don't like the same thing. But they still give props to my point of view. So I can still relate to that.
Right. It was the relatableness and perspective thing. And... hold on, I know what I'm gonna say. I just want to think of the order I'm gonna say it. Give me 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is how I'm gonna say it. So, well, you know this, but I'm gonna speak to everyone else. So you know how I'm doing the video editor intern, and we're working with different either people or brands, specifically on Instagram, and we're trying to get them more popular and get them more views. That's the goal, right? So we had a team. Every Monday we have a team meeting where we discuss the videos and set up the entire week. So we were talking about this new customer that they're getting. It's a really big customer. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it. It's a casino. It's a brand new casino. I'm not gonna say where, but I don't know if I can. I think I can. Not important. But it's a casino and they're brand new. So they went to go shoot last week and we got all the footage this week. So we were discussing how are we going to make them big. They're starting from zero. And most of the footage that they took was from the employees that were there. So at the end of discussing everything, they came and we all came to the conclusion that the best way to do this is to first make those workers that are working there to make them want to see the videos that we put out, to make them like it, to make them comment, to get them engaged, and then for them to be the ones, I guess, promoting it.
More than by seeing themselves, because they're the ones that got filmed.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
okay, that makes sense.
It's to focus the editing and the stories on the actual employees to start out with, and then having them like it and having them spread the word. So focusing on them instead of focusing on like the casino. Because if you're gonna make like two different videos, you could make one that's just based on the casino. Like, come to this casino, it's amazing. Kind of like the casino advertisements you see on TV. Morongo Casino, and it shows the Morongo Casino, and it shows random people having fun. You could do that too with this new company, but no one's been there. There's no reviews. There's nothing. It's just a random company, random new casino you're showing. Or you can actually focus on the people, the employees that work there. This is, let me make this up. This is Henry. Henry works on something. And then it shows Henry interacting with actual customers, but it's a story focused on Henry. Then Henry sees it. He shows it to the other employees. The other employees show it to their family. And their family says, oh, look, there's a new casino. Then their family shows it to their friends. Then their friends show it to their coworkers. And then the coworkers like, oh, look, my friend knows this person who knows this person who's related to this. And then it just spreads from there. So I say that to say I think we were doing the other approach. Oh, check out our podcast. It's amazing. It's so dope. Where we should have, I think, where we should have just been focusing on the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 30 people that actually do listen. But was that comparison clear? Because
yeah. I was actually seeing that we were doing it the other way. As in, yeah, I mean, we were doing the whole, like, with promotion, saying, oh, hey, look at this podcast or whatever, trying to get eyes to come to us. But I feel like or at least when I would invite guests to come over, I was doing it. Oh, A, they would fit good into what we were going to talk about, and B, you know, they would want to also kind of highlight themselves or you know, post about it, be like, hey, I came out on this podcast, check it out.
Damn. We need to talk more. Because I was doing the other way. And when I say the other way, I mean the I don't know if it's called a shotgun method. Yeah, I guess it would be a shotgun method. Shotgun being, you know, when you shoot a shotgun, everything's dispersed. Kind of like that. Like, oh, check this out. We're new. We're fresh. We're hot. Sizzling. Like a T-bone steak. But if you like baby back ribs, don't check them out. Come to us. Because if you want that nice glaze with that sweet cream filling on the outside next to the fries and the potato wedges, then come on over because we got a 2 for $18. 2 for $18? What? I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, but that felt so good. So, shotgun method.
Yeah.
So that's the way I was doing it. Trying to reach a wide audience. Instead of just focusing on the... Man, Steven, I need you to quit tiptoeing around. Get into it. All right. Now I'm going to get into it. It feels to me... Did my voice just crack? I'm going to cut that shit out. It feels to me... It feels to me like... And you tell me, do I talk or act different when I'm on the podcast than when I'm not? And use the past 50 episodes. Not this one or the last one, but the past 50. And you tell me, because I have an answer, but I'm biased because I'm me.
You have these... You have changed up kind of like a news anchor where you're like talking normal and then 3, 2, 1 camera action, then you kind of, not as your persona changes, but like you do talk differently. And I've thought about that before because I have noticed it,
You haven't told me anything?
No, because I'm just like, oh, well, this is why I haven't told you anything, because I see it and I'm just like, okay. And it's more, from what I see, it's depending on your mood.
Damn.
Yeah. So
you saying I'm moody?
no. It's not because you're whether you're happy or you're angry or whatever. It's a little bit of that. It's more, yeah, your mood.
No, it's probably that.
It's your mood, as in like you are, something's bothering you, and it could be some with this or something completely unrelated, but something's bothering you, and it shows when you talk sometimes.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
100%.
Do I have a different?
Wait, hold on. Let's stay on me and then I'll go to you.
Okay.
So then I know you could tell. I obviously know you can tell, and maybe someone else who knows me could tell. But do you think the viewers could tell?
Probably not.
Okay, because yeah, I do know that, and I know you could tell.
Can the viewers tell? I don't think so, because they don't see you off camera.
Yeah, so they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
They would only know what they see on camera. If I behave the same way or similar on camera, then there would be no disconnect between the disconnect that you see.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? I want to say yeah, but not. I'm not sure. Only because since the past ones have been reviews, where then it's not really like we're talking to each other. We're more describing something, which the direct answer is yes, of course. But I'm trying to give an example I'm trying to think of an example where I can show one of right now and one of like before. And I can't think of one right now. But the short answer is yes.
I kind of agree with you, but on a different basis.
What do you mean?
I feel like when we first started, I would put on this mic voice and I would try and make my voice deeper. And
you would?
Well, yeah,
I could do that digitally. I
know, but it's because I felt very uncomfortable talking to the mic and talking to you, or like once the kind of like when you see those TV shows or movies where, you know, somebody's getting ready to make their big stage debut or whatever, and then somebody walks by them and says, "Oh yeah, don't worry about that red light. It just means 100 billion people are watching," and then they just freeze up. As soon as I realized, oh shit, we're recording, this is the real deal, I would freeze up and I'd get super uncomfortable. But then as soon as we stopped, I would talk to you normally, I feel like. Yeah. So that's how I see that I would kind of put on this persona, where I would try and not show that I was uncomfortable.
Yeah, like perk up. And I would do it too. But I feel like I'm naturally perky, but on the camera I want to be more perky.
I don't think perky is the
I don't like that word. Never mind. I don't like that word.
I
don't like you. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, perky. I like that word, actually. I said it. I'll be straight up.
Prefer you say something like spunky. That's a lot better.
No. I'm gonna keep you this. What do you think when you hear the word perky? I have an image in my head.
I went straight to this.
Yeah, that's the image I thought of too. Because I think that's when that word is used.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't use that word. Yeah. Spunky. Energetic?
Yeah, I could see you as energetic.
And then I bring this up because I remember last week you were saying something about... Wow, I just had a blank moment again. You were saying something about people... Oh, I remember. People... I don't know if you said it. People like podcasts, not because they're descriptive or they're giving a presentation, but because there's two people giving their opinion. Something along that lines. I don't know if you... I think you alluded to that, and I've heard it before where... one of the reasons that podcasts became so popular is because it's not like a TV show or a radio show where it's someone going, "Hi, welcome to 97.3 The Kiss. And today we're going to have a very special guest." Where that's how it would be in the radio TV world.
Yeah.
But here, it's popular. One of the reasons it's popular is because it's two people just talking to each other. Two people, a group, maybe even just one person, where it's just a natural conversation. And because of that, then people can relate to it more because, oh, this is just a guy talking about X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I like his ideas, or I don't like his ideas, or I think he's right, or I think he's wrong, or I've done that before, or I haven't done that before. Whereas the first 50, this is one of the reasons I think it was bad is because we did that, where it was very, I said it before, like scripted.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like I'm just talking to you, just talking. Like right now, I feel like I'm just talking to you about this and we're on, but I feel like it should be like this.
That's why I get confused when you say we put out trash, because then you think about it and you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't say it how I wanted to say it. I could have said it better like this. And then I kind of feel like you kind of want to, I don't know if you do or don't, but I feel like you would want to re-record those parts. And then that makes you kind of think like, oh, then we're just reading off a script then, and it feels like a presentation at that point.
No, not re-record. And
or like, I guess not re-record, but like when you want to prepare ahead of time or be more prepared, however you want to put it, but kind of like if you want to go through like a table reading for TV shows where you go through it first, one time, and then you have like rehearsals and all that, and then the actual filming or the like takes and all that.
Let me talk about that more because I feel like this is bothering you. No, not at all. Because this goes back to the relatable thing that I don't want to do that because it's scripted. Well, in the first 50, we did do it. But I don't want to do that going forward. And the reason I did it was because I guess it was the same thing, like feeling uncomfortable. So not really doing this. So then I would put on a show. Yeah, put on a show and try to, I guess, not perceive, give out a perception of perky, energetic.
Uh-huh.
And I think when I did that, it didn't feel like I was me. And you remember episode 32?
Yes.
Are you telling me, or was that a question?
That's a question. Which one was it? I mean, I remember all of them, but I need, once you tell me which one it was, I'm like, yes.
Do you remember?
I don't know them all by in order.
Do you remember the time when? Not at a specific time, but you remember me saying, "Yo, Steven, I found out the secret to getting the podcast big," and then you said, "What is it?" Then I said, "We need to stop caring."
Yes.
And I didn't really expand on it, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yes.
So in episode 32, that's what I did. And when I said that, like, well, before I explain it, what do you think that means? I'll explain it right now, but
my definition is not getting too worked up on it. Yeah, that's it.
Wait, well, could you talk more? What do you mean not like, getting worked up?
Yeah, like leading up to the podcast being like, oh, fuck, I'm not prepared, I'm not ready, this has to be done before, and then so that would be getting worked up. So
not worrying about it. Like worry?
Yeah, not worrying about it, and you starting to not care would just be like, come in loosey-goosey, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a part of it. That and not preparing for it as well. Not preparing, not caring what you say. Because I think even right now, I feel very careful with the words I use because I know it's being recorded. And I know you don't know that, but I'm telling you, before I say something, I think about it a lot more times than I would if we were just talking and there was no one recording because I know it's going to go out there.
You scared in 5 years something we said won't be as publicly accepted and they'll come and cancel us?
Yeah, that's been a thought, but it's more... No, yeah, I'm just going to say yeah to that. Yeah.
I've thought about that, but I'm just like,
But then I think when we do that, then the episode suffers because then I can't really say what I want to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I would say anything like very, what's the word? Like racist or very offensive. But it's just the examples I use would be extreme. Because if you heard me use extreme examples, you just thought of one right now. But I use those examples because they get the point across, even though they're very extreme.
Yeah.
So I don't use those. I've never used those examples on the podcast.
There's some that have been kind of like out there, but I wouldn't say you're extreme.
No, I'm not.
And I feel that that's probably because you are toning it down a little bit. You probably could even go off the deep end a little bit more. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So when I give examples, and then when I say, let me think of an example, I already have one, but I don't want to say it. So I have to think of another example where it's more, how should I say it? Not aggressive, more understandable. Not understandable. Less extreme, I guess I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I was going to give an extreme example and then you said, let's say you said, yo, I can't make it to the episode because I'm tired. Let's say you told me that. And this is just an example. I already see you trying to come up with the scenarios. Just an example. Let's say I can't, or let me change it a little bit. I can't finish editing this because I was tired. And then you come in the next day and then you tell me I didn't finish it because I was tired. And then I'll tell you, have you considered not sleeping? Then you would say, but I was tired. And then I would say, well, so what? You're still alive. You're not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be like my extreme example. And even that was toned down.
That's not extreme to me, though.
I can see how someone else would think it's extreme.
Yeah, I can see that too. But as in, for me, that would be the simple answer.
And let me be more specific. When I say, like, they're out there, I'm not really talking to whoever's listening.
Yeah.
To them, that would be like, oh shit, he's just said that. And then you wouldn't care. But then that goes into the whole cancel thing, because then they're like, oh, he said this. What? Something about a dog and something the dog should have died? Oh, and then you wouldn't care. But then the viewer would be like, oh, he shouldn't have said that. And that goes into the cancel thing. And it all of it ties back together with the being uncomfortable, the whole cancel thing, and then the whole not being ourselves. Because it's all connected. Because we do those things, because I do those things, actually, yeah, because we do those things, then I think the episode suffers.
So the solution is going back to not caring?
Yeah.
No holds bar? Just...
Yeah.
Straight up say, if a dog gotta die...
Don't say some things.
A dog's gotta die?
Don't say some words, but other than that...
Yeah, definitely there's a,
And if you're going to use any word, then give a very good explanation on why you used it. So I would say you can just... I think we need to come in here. And then am I imagining or is that the saw again?
Yeah.
Hold on. All right. Hold on. Whatever, I just try to remove it. So
it was very faint.
Then the idea behind everything, I think we just need to come in here and then just talk how we usually talk and just be ourselves. Because nowhere else do I feel like, or actually no, I don't know if I've told you this. Actually, I think I have. That one of the reasons I don't like going out is because when I go out, I feel like I have to put on a show.
You've told me that before, yes.
And that's one of the reasons, and I think that might even be a main reason. I really don't like going out because I have to go out. I've told you this example before. You're at work, you're at school, you're at wherever, and then someone goes up to you. Hey, good morning. How are you? Oh, good. How are you? Oh, good. Oh. And then there's a little awkward silence, and then you both walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
Yeah, I've been told that, yeah.
And that scenario is how I feel when I go out. Like it's just a continuation of that.
Mm.
And I think that's what we do with the whole, hey, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. Not that we don't care, but it's just that it just feels like an act. I hate that.
I think that happens the majority of the time. There are some instances where it's very actually sincere, where people are like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see you. And I have seen that happen.
Yeah. But that's why one of the reasons I don't like going out, because I would just rather not put on an act. Because even then, if I go to someone else's house, now you're someone else, and then they go, hey, how are you? And I go, pretty bad.
Yeah.
Then if I know they don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I know they want me to say good, and then in the response of, how are you? Oh, so how's work? And then, shit, I'm an intern. I can't say shit. No, it's going good. I'll be like, oh, it's going great. But then I know they kind of don't care. They're just saying it to say it.
Yeah.
And then my next response will be, oh, how's your work? I fucking hate that. It's only in the past year that I've stopped doing it. Not completely. It's a process where it's going down significantly. Like yesterday, Ruben told me, hey, did he told you about the show today? His cousin or something, Sulema's cousin, something about a show. Ruben invited me to go to a show later today. And on the way...
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
On the way there, he told me, hey, so tomorrow I have a show. Do you want to go? It's for something cousin. He told me the story. Mm-hmm. I just looked at him and said, to be honest, no, I don't want to go. And then he just laughed and said, okay.
Yeah, but I didn't say anything wrong with that, though.
No, it's all right. So the thing is, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying that I understand that by me saying it... Hold on. And for anyone who's listening, there's a vacuum cleaner? Is that a saw? No, it's a saw.
That's a straight up saw.
Hold on, let me...
It's done.
Okay. So when I say that, it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's that I understand how people would perceive it. And it's not something that someone else would want to hear. And... Well, speaking about it now, it's... Thinking about it now, I'm changing the way I act because of other people's opinions. And that's all. And that's why I stopped doing it, because I was letting other people's opinions dictate how I would act. And that's one of the reasons I stopped going out, because I would rather not change who I am just because of how I would respond. And because I'm responding more like that, then I really don't feel like going out, because I know when I get asked a question, I'm just going to be honest. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But then if I say it, then someone would get mad or confused, or now they don't know how to react. And then, yeah.
You got to not care about that. Just do you.
Yeah. No, I know that. And again, it's been a gradual thing.
Yeah.
It's no, I've stopped. I wouldn't say I've stopped caring. I've stopped letting it bother me.
Yeah.
But again, it's a gradual thing.
I get you. And
then I'm so, let's just say, overprotective on the podcast because we are new. So I have to act up. Not act up. Perk up.
So then I want to ask this because I'm confused. When you said put on a show,
Yeah.
I know you mean like as in how you talk to people, but do you sometimes feel like you have to be funny or entertaining?
Yeah. Because I think that's during middle school to high school, and you know this because you were there. That's how I actually in middle school. That's how I naturally was, and then in high school, that's when the show started for me. Because I was still like that, but that's when I got more philosophical, I guess. It's kind of a yeah. I'm just gonna go with it like philosophical, more where I started to question everything, and then I didn't want to speak as much, not because I didn't want to speak, but because I was like, I was thinking and reflecting on things. But I know that persona from middle school, that's who I was, that would transfer over, and it did transfer over. So I kept doing that. And then after high school, when I graduated, then I stopped doing it to the extent that I used to do it.
And you do that because you think people want to see that?
No. I never did it because I thought that's what they wanted to see. I did it more because I was confused and I didn't know how to react.
That makes sense.
And then to me, when something's different, like when something's different within you, to me, I should say me, within me, I didn't know how to. The best way for me to process the differences was to act the same. Because when I acted the same, but when I kept the same manners and habits, then I can really distinguish the differences within me. Because then this is how people see me, but how do I see myself? And then when everything stayed the same, then I could say, oh, this is how I see myself. Because now I really see the differences. Whereas if I kind of combined it and I started acting differently, then I'm kind of confusing myself. Like, is this who I am, or is that who I am? Am I more like this, or am I just pretending to be like that and be like this? To me, at the time, that was my best strategy. Just stay the same, and then when you're alone, then you can see the differences within you. Then you can really see what's different.
Yeah.
And how people see you and how you see yourself. And for me, that was my best strategy.
I don't think it's a wrong strategy.
I don't think it was wrong. Maybe there's a better one, but at the time, that was my best strategy. And now I feel it's more... You know the shape of DNA, how it's a double-stranded and it kind of crisscrosses? I feel like I did that in the beginning, and now it's more like this. And I feel like I'm in the link right now where it's like... Because I've been doing it for so long, and then I'm kind of shifting like back. When I say shifting back, I mean like not caring. So now I'm showing everyone how I am. Now I'm kind of in the middle part where I'm thinking, was I always like this, or was I like that? So now it's after that first cross, I think one will get more prevalent. When I say more prevalent, I mean something will have to emerge, I guess, to see who I really am, I guess. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're at the link, you see yourself.
That link will break, and then I'll emerge like a fucking phoenix, blazing in fire.
Okay. You trying to be funny around me?
Hold on, I'm trying to think and give you an honest answer.
I feel like you already know the answer. You're just trying to think of a different way to say it.
No. The easy answer is yes. But then I know how that sounds, and you'd be like, oh, you're always doing it. I do it only in certain instances.
I feel like I can tell when you do it on certain instances.
I think I can tell when I do it. I'm like, oh, I kind of cringe at it, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Yes.
I don't see anything wrong with it, but I know when you're just being normal, or I feel like I know when you're just being normal. And I still think you're funny, just like that. But I can tell when you
perk up.
When you you gotta stop saying that word.
That's gonna be the title, by the way. Perking up.
Perking up. My analogy would be I can tell when you put the when you gas it.
Yeah, and I know that you can tell.
Yeah.
And I think even Ruben can tell. But again, I don't think anyone else can really tell.
That's true.
I know you know.
Yeah.
I like how this just became a podcast about me and how I am.
Nah, I've been waiting.
The main takeaway from this, from what we just talked about, was not that we need to force ourselves to be more natural, but that we need to find a way to be more natural. Because I think that's what we were doing. We were forcing, I guess, I want to say we were forcing each other to speak, but we weren't forcing each other. We were forcing a character, I guess.
Yeah, and just talking about things we weren't really.
Yeah, that's what when
too perked up on.
When I did the Fuckboy P character, I fucking enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it because I wasn't myself, and because I was this character, I felt like I could do whatever I wanted. It was very freeing. Yeah, right after that episode finished, I felt amazing. It was really cool. Even now I'm considering acting.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really cool because I could do whatever I want. I made up a scenario for Fuckboy P as I was talking about him. And as the episode continued on, during the second half, I felt really comfortable with him.
Shit.
And I don't know if you noticed, but I felt super comfortable with him by the second. I feel like the first half, it was... I don't think you were...
I was confused. I was where are we going with this? So I was kind of more just trying to feel it out. And then, the once I realized, we're doing this. And
yeah, I think you thought it was going to be like a 1 to 5 minute thing. Then
I thought it was going to be a bit, like where it's just like, oh, okay. And hope you guys enjoyed that. We're back. What's up? Let's get into it. But no, the once I realized, I was like, oh, all right.
I felt so comfortable with the character that by the end, remember when you said, so you want to sign us off? Like at that moment, I was full Fuckboy P. I really thought to myself, what is that? Even though we've done it for 50 episodes.
Yeah.
And I remember that specifically because as soon as the words came out of my mouth, I didn't say it or I didn't show it. But in my head, I was like, I know what that is. Why did I say that? But it came so naturally because Fuckboy P really doesn't know what that is. So that's why when I said, what is that? I really meant it. Like it wasn't acting. Like I meant it. Like I didn't know what it was. I thought that was super cool. Where when I made myself believe that I was this person, so much so that I could my tone and my facial expression and everything actually showed it to be true. Damn. Or I guess I can't say that. What do you think about what I just said? Yeah, nah.
Well, right now that you explained it, I didn't know that you were like fully embracing yourself into the character. I thought you were just, I thought when you were doing it, you had previously rehearsed it. You were and I know you clarified that. You clarified that after the podcast. You were like, nah, I just thought about this 5 minutes ago before the podcast. And I was like, shit, all right. Because no, you went in. So you did very well. Like as in, you stayed in character. You didn't break. Even though I was all confused, you didn't like be like, yeah, just play along, nothing. You were just you went straight into it. You didn't stop for nothing. But nah, I liked it.
And then where this ties into the podcast is, I think we have to find a way to be ourselves without putting on a character. Like I shouldn't have to put on a character to feel like I'm myself, I
Yeah.
guess.
I'm with that.
And that's where that ties into the podcast and going forward with it.
I'm with that. So then, do you feel you're gonna do those acting classes sooner than later now?
Probably as soon as I can find a paid position. There's two things that I want to sign up for: the acting classes, and I want to go back to my Muay Thai gym and not finish my training, but because I don't think training ever gets finished, I think you just stop, but just continue training, and then eventually probably go to your jiu-jitsu class, or maybe even if I can't take them continuously, like start them together. But I have to wait till I get a paid position. But yeah, I do want to take those classes. I will take those classes.
Sick. You know what I've been contemplating, like legit contemplating?
Stand up.
Nah.
Oh.
Yes and no. But that's not that. DJing. I've been doing like, but I feel like it's just a rabbit hole that I'm going through right now. I've just been watching nothing but videos of like DJs, what like their stage presence, what they're doing. I try and see what buttons or knobs that they're turning, why they're doing it. I've been watching tutorials on specific equipment. And I was like, this is tight.
Ruben has a set.
I know he does. But yeah, I don't know if it's something real or if I'm just if it's just one of the rabbit holes that I go down where I get all this information on it and never act on it. But it's more because I realize this isn't really tangible, or like I just feel like it's just what I'm into at the moment, not really what I want, what I like.
Yeah.
So like with like I wouldn't compare it to anything like with jiu-jitsu or my other stuff that I'm into, but yeah, so I don't know. But the stand-up thing, I have been coming up with these jokes that I think or they're like beginning bits of jokes that I probably will never do because they're too extreme.
You could just say them to me.
I could, but it's not there yet. It's just I have the general idea of where I'm going to try and lead you, and what the joke's about, and I know what makes it funny, at least to me. What would make it funny? I just need to think about the wording, and if the wording does like correspond with what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Because I know I have that problem where I'm trying to say something and I think I'm saying it because I'm thinking it, so I know what I'm trying to say, but the words that come out of my mouth don't directly correlate with what I'm thinking sometimes. And I stutter and I might get stuck, or I might think of it, trying to switch it up right then and there, like as I'm giving it. So then I'll just mess it up, change it. I don't know.
Yeah, I used to have that not with jokes, but with ideas where I would think of something and it felt like a train. You know how a train goes really fast? Well, that was stupid, of course. Anyway, a train compared to a horse. The train, let's say it's a bullet train. The bullet train in Japan, significantly faster than the horse, right?
Yeah.
So I always used to think of it as where my mind would work like a bullet train, but when I would say it, my delivery would be like the horse. Like my mind's the bullet train, and then my mouth and my expression, the words that I say, and everything else is like the horse, where the mind's going, and I feel like the horse is always trying to catch up. Yeah. At least that's how it was before. For me now, I feel like it's more on par, but I think what you're describing with the whole joke thing, it's you're in that bullet train to horse comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there are instances where if we're around our friends or other people that I feel very comfortable with, I can talk shit and I can say some things that it's funny right then and there. But then I don't know if it has to do with the whole, oh, you had to be there kind of thing. Because then we'll be like somewhere else at a different point in time, and we'll talk about that one time. Oh, remember, we were hanging out and this happened. You said this and I said this, and we think it's funny, but to the person that's hearing it, they're just like kind of like, okay. And it might be the whole delivery thing. We didn't deliver it the same way. Maybe it was just you really had to be there because of your surroundings, the scenario, inside jokes, probably like things that you know about this person that somebody else wouldn't know. So that's why we think it's funny. So I don't know.
No, I would say it's all those things.
Yeah.
It's all of those, and the reason I think why when comedian tells a joke that no one's heard before, there's no inside joke, why that joke is funny has to do with the setup. Everything you explained right there would be the setup. The joke would be the punchline. And then the hard part is in the setup to make it something where everyone can understand and to get the most laughs with this and make it very broad, but then make it unique and then make the punchline funny and then make the punchline unique. And so, yeah, I would say it's all those things and more. You do realize this is PFTP.
I know, but you shared, so I feel like I should share it with you.
All right.
No, but I was going to tie it back and I had it and I lost it. I was going to tie it back to the PFTP thing, on us being ourselves.
I took so long with it because I think that's something, again, that I haven't really heard too many other podcasters talk about, the difference between how they act off and on. And I know we hear about it, and we hear about it most with actors, how when they play this character, people often think that's who they are because they play that character. And we're not on podcasts. We're not really actors. We're just us. So how we act here should be more or less similar to how we act outside. I shouldn't say should, is more or less similar than how we act outside. And I think that's the main draw to it. One of the main draws to it is because it's us. And one of the things that makes the podcast unique is us, because that's how we act. Yeah. That was that whole part. But what else do you have? Do you don't have any more questions? Let me just go right into the next one then. Unless you have anything else you want to say.
No, about this, no. I forgot that was the main point I was trying to say. So this wouldn't just be all useless information, but I forgot it. I lost it in my train of thought. Because, I was going to go right, but then I went left. And then when I U-turned to come back to it, it was gone.
So you can't do that. You just need to pick your point. Look, when I want a cupcake, I just want to know. Just tell me, do you want a blueberry or do you want a muffin?
I know. But to you, what's a good example of a good podcast? Like, why do you feel that whatever podcast you're about to say is putting out good content?
I feel like that was a dig at me and saying, so why do you think our podcast is bad? The opposite.
Because I want to see where you're putting the...
oh, that's true.
Like,
hold on, let me show my calves. I want to flex on everyone.
No, it wasn't a dig. Just straight up, I want to know where you're setting the bar at. And I know there's obviously differences because we're not trying to copy anybody. But I want to know to you what makes it good. Because to me, something else might make it.
Right. And the direct answer, and I think the one that maybe you might expect me to say, is Joe Rogan.
I feel like Joe Rogan's an anomaly. It doesn't...
And I can't answer your...
His success in the podcast does not reflect, like...
podcast because he's a comedian?
Yeah. Because with him, he doesn't have this, like, thing he does. He just wants, like, he literally does whatever he wants to do. He wants to talk to people he thinks is interesting. So like if he gets curious about something, he'll fucking go out and contact them like, yo, I want to talk to you, come on my show. And then boom, and then he doesn't have this schedule, he just does whatever he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like all last week he didn't do nothing, he went elk hunting. So he was gone for a whole week. And then half the time he's just bragging about the stuff he likes, and he goes, yeah man, after the podcast we'll go do this. And then so I don't know, I feel like his success doesn't really correlate to podcasting.
I'm kind of confused what you mean by that.
Yeah, like a successful podcast, like Planet Money. I think that's a successful podcast.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I just know that it's a NPR podcast.
It's 20 minutes long each episode.
Wait, so when you asked me the question, did you want me to choose one?
No, I just wanted to, because if I want to know I guess I want to know why you're saying our stuff is bad, but I want to know what you're comparing, if you're comparing it to anything, and why it makes it bad.
Okay. I'm not comparing it to anything specifically because they're so different. So if we're going to go to a specific category, then like tech or finance, or like if we're going to go to a specific category, then I could say I think this one's better because of this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just saying podcast overall, then I'll tell you the reasons why I think it's better instead of comparing it to one. So the reason is because what makes a successful one would be one, what we just talked about, where they're themselves, where it's a actual, it's like when you watch a movie, you know, when you sit there in the movie theater and you watch it and you get so into the movie that you forget about everything that's around you because you're so focused on it. Or maybe when you're at home, you're watching something and then someone sits next to you and then you say, when'd you get there? And you didn't see them passing because you were so into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we don't have, where it's because we're not ourselves, that it doesn't feel like that we can get someone into it.
Yeah.
Because there are those breaks and moments and where I would like try to perk up, where so that, and the other reason I think is I don't feel like we're providing any value. Not that we have to, but I don't feel like there's much value overall. Because then, yeah, it's just, if I was listening myself as a listener to the podcast, I don't see why I should continue listening.
I know why.
Why?
Well, because, to me, we previously haven't given them anything to fall in love with, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like with us starting to talk about ourselves, or that'll change.
See, but that's where I get confused, because I feel like we have talked about ourselves. And the real stories, it's not like anything was really made up. Or even, I was going to say embellished, but I don't think I ever embellished anything, or you did.
No.
Or I never embellished. There's just stories. So we have talked about ourselves. And I think episode 32 was, I brought it up earlier, and I brought it up because that episode specifically was when I didn't care what I said. I just went out and I tried to talk to you as normal as I could. And I think that episode is an episode compared to all the other ones where I did talk to you as normal as I could.
Mm-hmm. And I feel that. I did feel that. But what I'm saying is, in the previous episode, we more would talk on the subject. And if something came up that related to the subject we were talking about, then, we talk about ourselves. But it wouldn't normally be like the audience wouldn't have something where they see us develop not like a character arc, but as in like they see us with, maybe we have like this dilemma or whatever, and then as the episodes progress, they follow our journey on how we fix it, or maybe as I mentioned something that I'm excited for, and then over the next couple episodes, they follow along to see if it came to fruition.
That is a story arc, character arc.
No, but then yeah, that's what I'm.
Wait, are you saying that we're missing that, or we need that?
I feel like we're missing that because I feel there have been episodes, and primarily in the beginning, where we would talk about stuff, and then I kind of would be like, "Oh, hey, well, we just did this."
Like the marathon.
The marathon. I think episode 10.
Topic.
Don't remember the topic, but at the end, I kind of just brought in like, "Hey, we just went to a concert to see Logic."
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to know your thoughts on it. Like, I could ask you off, like off mic. Off mic, yeah. I wanted to say off camera, but we weren't recording.
Off camera too.
I want to ask you off mic.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, nah, let's talk about it on the podcast. Let's make it a thing.
But that was still the awkward phase as well.
Yeah, it was.
So it was really difficult to speak in front of the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in front of the mic because the camera wasn't there.
Yeah, that's very true. But I felt like if I got comfortable, like I wanted to kind of push myself in getting comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, fuck it, let's talk about ourselves a little bit. And I feel it may, soften the adaptation period. And
to continue that, also the first 50 were also like movie review episodes. So we couldn't really talk about ourselves because we were talking about the subject, which was this movie, this show, this book, this etc.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think we should have, what you said, we should have done the opposite. Instead of focusing on the subject, we should have focused on us. And if the subject comes up, then it comes up. Like instead of
how it made us feel, or how we reacted, or our experience.
Well, we did that in the episode. What I mean by that is when we did the episodes, what was one of the topics? Let me come up with unwind.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of just focusing on unwind. So what did you think about the story? What did you think about when he did this, or when he did that, or when he did that? We should have just talked about. We shouldn't have done that, and we should have just been talking to each other. What did you do? What are you doing? Huh? Really? You went to an abandoned airbase? That reminds me of the book Unwind. Have you heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the book, this happened. And then you would ask me a question. Just like something that you're really curious about. So why did this happen? Oh, because of this and this and this. And I don't know if you know, but in this state, in real life, they actually passed a law on abortion, and it kind of ties back into the book where they did this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we did that. I think it was more this happened. We focused on that.
Yeah.
And it felt forced and awkward.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
But that's how it was structured for the first 50. It was built that way. That's another thing we need to change, the bio and the topic. If we're even going to have a topic or not, or
mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, I don't know what category to place us in besides people and blog. Because that is a category, but I think aren't most podcast people? No, some are specific to comedy and other stuff, but
yeah. Shit, you can put us in comedy. I like to think we're funny.
Yeah. I think so, but I guess that would depend how everyone else views us.
Mm-hmm. Well, now they get to see our true selves.
What I wouldn't want to talk about is at the moment I don't even know. I was going to say us, just us. I would want some, not niche, some, how should I say it? What's the word? Something that helps us. I think a crux? Is a crux something that helps you? A support. Some kind of support system.
Mm-hmm.
something that we can. I think I said it last time. Something that we can go back to, if in the case that we stumble. And I don't know if I told you on mic or off mic, but like Joe Rogan, he talks to other people that are interesting, but again, he's a comedian, so he always has that. And not that his podcast is a comedy podcast, but because he's a comedian, he can always go back to that and lighten the mood if something is awkward, or try to tell a joke, or maybe he doesn't even want to do that and continue on with the interview style that he does. But he always has that if and when he needs it.
That's true. It's very true. He does do that a lot. He'll go to a joke, or he'll talk about some joke and explain it. Not explain it, but like give information about either that comedian, that specific joke, that time, that something about it. So yeah, he does fall back on that a lot.
Yeah, actually,
or go straight to, have you ever done DMT?
Yeah. Yeah, so not that we need a niche, but just some not category either, some support system, something that we can always go back to. But no idea what that is. And I was going to continue. I was going to talk about this on mic, but I don't think we could, because it would be a whole bunch of episodes. And mosquito.
Yeah, so
we would have to, I guess we could, I'm not sure. Guess we'll decide after this to change the bio and to really see what category or what niche or whatever that we're going to do. If we do one at all.
I was actually thinking current events. That'd be easy as a like to fall back on. But I don't know if it's played out.
My first response was to say no, but I don't want to just say no. I want to say it's not that it's played out. It's that one thing I do want to do is find a way to make it unique. I don't. When you said that, the first thing I thought of was The Fighter and the Kid, and I don't want to do that, especially not the way they do it. Not that it's bad, but they're already doing it, so I just want to do something different.
With The Fighter and the Kid, they tell them, "Hey, this is what's going on," and then half the time they never talk about it. They like Brian will be like, "Oh, well, here's a little quick note," and then he tries to educate Brendan, and Brendan just like makes fun of it. And then they go off into this other thing, never talk about it. What I was thinking is using that, and kind of like how you explained Unwind earlier, like, oh, I went to this abandoned air place or whatever, and then tie in the current event where we actually talk about it. But like today I had, I don't know if you saw the whole Disney thing. They banned Netflix ads on all their and on all their platforms, like all their companies that they use.
Huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like the streaming war is getting intense.
It's really perking up.
Perking up. So that's what I would have brought in, and because we've talked about this before, they would have kind of helped our character arc, not
story arc.
Yeah. Because when we talked about it, we talked about it at the very beginning of it happening,
right?
So like, and we'll routinely come and give updates on things that are happening.
Okay, I think we're gonna stop there, and I'm thinking we do another one, but this time we just purely focus on the bio, which would be the same as the main idea and what's gonna happen moving forward, which I don't even know if we'll figure out, but at least talking about it will help. And it might be half an hour or 1 hour, or it might be even longer. But yeah, I think we'll dedicate one episode specifically to that, to any other questions that come up from here until then, but mainly on that, on the main idea, niche, category, etc.
Okay.
All right. But this episode, out of all the episodes, did feel like the most natural. As in, I didn't feel like I was putting on a show. I kind of did, but not really. Not as much as the other ones. The other one was times 100 perky. This one was like times 2.
Yeah. You gotta stop saying perky.
It's gonna be in the title. I don't know how I'm gonna word it, but it'll be something perky.
Oh,
I think I might put Steven Perks up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with it. Let's do it. I like where this is going.
One last thing, I don't know how to end it. I'm not gonna say, so sign us off.
Peace.
No. And I still don't like that intro, the outro you do. Hey guys, thanks everybody.
I don't say hey guys. That's straight up YouTube.
All right, I added that. But you know what I mean? That it feels like a.
I say thank you so much and yeah, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but
the only thing I like that I say is the whole. My name's Steven. Is Pedro. To my some theories. Peace. That's the only part I like.
I think the reason why it bothers me is because it's the same thing every week, and because it's the same thing every week, it feels scripted. Well, because it's I shouldn't say the same. It's very similar because it's very similar, but that's kind of how you have to do it, in a way.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'm just gonna say, toodaloo, motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we gotta figure that out too then.
All right, this is how I would end it. Hold on, I'm trying to
just walk off.
We could. No, but not really, because you would have to go that way. Well, it would be better if you go that way and I go this way.
Yeah. We act like we break up after every episode.
Yeah, and I also kind of want to turn to the guest to actually... The guest. That's a good word. Instead of saying viewer, I want to say guest. Yeah, I want to turn to the guest and say... Let's see how it ended. I don't want to say this is the end. Damn, I'm defaulting back to what you say.
Let's just go until the battery dies and that'll be the end of the video.
When the battery dies, we'll just be speaking and...
Yeah. And they'll be like, no, what happened? What did they say?
Guess I'll say, so next week we'll continue on the PFTP. Next week we'll focus on the... What did I say? We'll focus on...
Bio.
Yeah, any questions that we didn't have, and the bio and specifically the niche or category. We'll do that next week, and we'll see if... I think that'll be it for that, and... Yeah, we'll see if we can figure something out. I am your host. I am joined here with my co-host. Yeah, I didn't like doing that. Towards the end. In the beginning, it was fine. Like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you write a comment down below. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. I remember when they would say that, I didn't understand it, and now I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do write a comment, it does help with the YouTube algorithm, meaning it pushes you to... More people see you because they're writing and because you're not active, but interactive with people. But that's not important. But
yeah.
If you like us and you want to see more, follow. If you don't, then don't. New listeners, old listeners, first time, last time.
Thanks for coming.
Toodaloo, motherfuckers.